we're back like I promised. I am so sorry, West Coast, if you have not watched the Oprah interview with Harry and Meghan. But if you, and I encourage everyone to watch, because unfortunately, people think that the lives are easy. Let me make some adjustments. Oh, it's all glitz and glamour. But we know differently. Those of us who grew up, like I was a child when Charles and Diana got married, and we saw what a disaster that was. The woman lost her life. I still to this day remember. I think I was going into my junior year of college, into my senior year when Princess Diana died in that car crash. And I remember exactly where I was and what I was doing when it happened. And Miss Sophia the Diva is deeply disturbed by what it is that what I heard. Now, we know that there are three sides to every story. Their side, the other people's side, the royal institution, Harry and Meghan's truth, and the truth. But I believe every word them young people said. I do. And it was very painful to watch. It was very disturbing to know just how racist the royal institution is, and how there are so many protocols built in, and so it's like they forgot, oh, these people are human, they're not androids. And to hear Prince Harry say, basically, or I guess we can just call him Harry because they done stripped them of all their royal titles, cut them off financially. I'm sure Piers Morgan will have something to say, and we've all heard what Bethany Frankel has had to say. She let her fingertips do a lot of quote-unquote gum bumping, as I like to say. But it was very, very disturbing. And the royal institution ain't shit. Now, what I do know about the infrastructure, I remember years ago, at the end of the day, how the royals have their money and everything set up. Parliament runs England, okay? The patriarchy, the royal thing, that's all mainly they're just figureheads. And all the things that they do, the going out to the quote unquote Commonwealth and all of that, to hug the black babies and make it look like they care. That's just pomp and circumstance. That's all that is. That's fanfare. We learn that how stories are dictated is there's a lot of commingling, so to speak, with the tabloids or the press and the royal institution, the firm, as they call it. I said that's interesting that they refer to it as the firm, because if you read John Grisham's book or watched the movie with Tom Cruise, we all know how the firm was. Every move you make, every breath you take, they are on you. And that's pretty much how their lives were lived. They were not pleased with the fact that Meghan became pregnant with child, and that's when shit really went downhill. As I spoke earlier in my earlier clip, the Australian trip is what really made them lose their shit. And Harry really started to reflect upon the fact that this is starting to look very much like what happened to my mother. And we all know Diana was miserable in that situation because Charles' trifling ass was out there chasing in behind Camilla. And that's partly the institution's fault because he really didn't want to marry Diana, but he was doing it because it was part of formality. Camilla really wasn't appropriate. So he wanted to break protocol, but didn't. So Harry has done what his father wouldn't. Now, let's not forget, there have been years of suspicion, which explains why it might have been easy for them to cut Harry off, is that people used to think that Diana's bodyguard is Harry's daddy. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that that's true. I'm just saying that for years it was speculated that that's what that was. We know that the Queen Mother does not have a problem with Meghan. She treats Meghan just like she is her grandmother, okay? Because that's what we do. But it was very sad. Oprah did a great job of deep diving into this, and I think that many people had a pretension that, oh, this is like the she's rich, because Bethany Frankel was like, oh, she lives in a palace. She did this. She was trapped in a palace. She couldn't go nowhere. She had to ask permission to go places. Meghan shared with us that when you get there, your life becomes theirs. They are the puppeteers, okay? She had to turn in her passport, her car keys, her identity, all that. It's not like she could call an Uber and be like, hey, let's roll out. I want to go shopping. Everything. Yeah, Princess Kate, too, got to ask permission. So when we see her out and about, it's probably because she got permission. But it's easy for her. But the real thing here is that those people want to hold on to century-old racist practices. And it is ridiculous. So, they were not paid for this interview. That's another thing that Bethany Frankel put out there. I just want her to, I don't even know who she really is. I know she was like Real Housewives of New York. I know she produced what she calls skinny cocktails. They're nasty. I think they're gross. I mean, some people drink alcohol just to get a buzz. But okay. Meghan has my thoughts on the royal family. She said, yeah, she started dating Harry, but she really didn't know a lot about them. And to be honest, I really didn't know a lot about them either because I really didn't care. It doesn't concern me. Although quiet as kept, we all believe that America is just a satellite. I mean, they sent their misdemeanor and some of their felonious people over here to help establish America. So let's not forget that. But yeah, Bethany really needs to sit down somewhere. When I saw the tweets and the Jasmine brand and other blogger sites that were posted, I was like, what? Why is that? But I saw somewhere where someone had posted that actually Bethany, I guess, thought she could get with Harry and Harry didn't want her. I'm like, girl, he don't want your old ass. What is it? So, let me see what Shelly had to say. I can't see. I hate when it says see more on the phone and you can't see more. The fear that whites have of losing their majority status is worldwide. Trust and believe the UK is just as racist. So, in the interview, I don't know if you caught it, but Meghan basically said the Commonwealth, as they call it, all of the territories that England still has some interest in, 67% people of color. We're talking about black people. Remember, Hong Kong used to belong to England. And when I was over there, I said, why is all this? This is very English. Like everything is in English. All the streets are named after royals. Well, I knew that at one point England had colonized them, but I didn't know the extent of it. And so I can't remember what New Year's it was, but England did hand Hong Kong back over to China, but it's very, very much English. So I at one point during the interview, because I'm very sensitive, I started crying. And the part that I started crying on was when Harry talked about, one, how his father stopped taking his phone calls and how, they cut him off financially. Had it not been for his mother's inheritance that she left for him in case the transition ever had to go down, because she probably saw it coming, they would have had to rely on whatever Meghan had. Okay? Or maybe grandma could have cut a check. I don't know. But at the beginning of 2020, when we knew a pandemic was coming, because we had rumblings of it since October of 2019, they cut him off. There will be no security. We don't care about you and your black baby. We don't care about you and your wife. Had it not been for Tyler Perry, y'all love to bang on Tyler Perry. But if because of the amount of wealth that Tyler Perry has amassed and because of his benevolence and good heart, he was able to provide refuge for Harry and Meghan and security. Because, by the way, they cut off security, too, to them. Because, oh, little Archie, will he be black or will he be white looking? We're concerned about his skin tone. And by the way, we're going to change the rules because we don't want him to have the royal treatment. We don't want him to have the title of a prince. We don't want him to ever face the possibility of being in the royal setting on the throne. Well, I hope that Prince William's kids grow up and decide they want to be with the black people, Asian people, whoever the hell else they want to, Latino people. Hell, I hope one of them go down there and get a Mexican. How about that? That's what I hope at this point. Because, I mean, it don't make any sense. And the thing about it is that don't be mad at the queen. Because, honestly, the queen don't know shit until, somebody has to tell her. So, they hide shit, too. Oh, what I did find cute, though, on a positive note, and I have friends that did this, too, and I will not ever disclose them. But I had friends that did the same thing. Before they got married, before their friends and family, Harry and Meghan got married 3 weeks before they were actually married, before they did the whole pomp and circumstance, which I think is problematic in and of itself, is because they're a little peeved that Harry would meet someone, fall in love with them, and not be the traditional, without a spot or wrinkle princess. Because let's be real, Meghan lived a whole other life before she met Harry. She had been married before, she was divorced, but I'm thinking to myself, so y'all got a double standard going because Camilla ass was the side piece for the longest for Charles, and y'all kind of just, oh, it happened, and just kind of glided over that. So Harry brings home a quote-unquote woman that you don't think is worthy, who's independent. She got her own thing. She's an actress. She was a regular, smegular person. Her mother is black. Her father is white, albeit a belligerent white idiot, but okay. And y'all mad. Stay mad. So, everything she did, what was your point about the Commonwealth being 67%? I think you missed my point earlier when I was saying that it's very interesting to me how the royals go out and about doing things like going to Africa, going to Australia. Let's not forget we have Aborigines. They go to all these different places to visit these people of color and then try to play like, oh, we don't like black people. You don't, because you like them to be subservient to you, but now that they in your house, it's a problem. But it's all fun and games when you're out here kissing and hugging all over the little black babies and the Asian babies and whatever else the Commonwealth sets at. I don't know. That's my problem. So, and y'all please forgive me. I stay congested, and so please forgive me. And I take everything, but I'm still congested. Here's the bottom line. No matter what Meghan does, Duchess Kate can do that, but Meghan can't. The tabloids are so petty. When Kate was pregnant, eating avocados, the spin was, oh, Kate is eating to calm down morning sickness. Meghan's eating avocados pregnant. Oh, she is eating avocados that were obtained from a compromised group that, I forgot what it was, but it was something crazy. Like, in other words, tree huggers would be mad about this, okay? Environmentalists and people like myself who occasionally are concerned about my carbon blueprint. Yeah. So, everything that Kate does is okay. But when it comes to Meghan, it was a problem. Y'all, it got so bad to the woman wanted to kill herself. She went through the proper protocols to ask, could she get help? Could she go to an institution to get her mind right? Everything. Harry's trying to advocate. Everything is turned down. And like Meghan said, the world that she came from, they had a union when things didn't go right. She even went to HR. Because keep in mind, these people, this is their job, to be figureheads, to go out, shake hands, ribbon cutting ceremonies, all that. So it's a real job. But unfortunately, this HR is set up like some of the HRs and some of these blue chip law firms. They ain't going to help you because they going to do everything they can to make it seem like you the crazy one for asking. Okay? What else happened during this interview? And one of the things I did like is that Meghan did an in-your-face moment when she basically said, I'm proud of who I am, what I am, and who I came from. I'm proud to be the independent woman that I'm glad that I was all of those things before I came to all of this. Okay? I said, let them know, Meghan. So we know that the Queen doesn't have a problem with Meghan. But when they started talking about Archie's race and color and skin tone, and somebody was like, well, how do you think that was going to turn out? She's half black. She's half black and practically fair skin and Harry's white. I'm like, we don't know what the baby could have came out dark because black women carry every color of the rainbow in their DNA. That is why you will see people that are extremely dark-skinned that may have an albino child. Some people just didn't take biology. How you going to pull... Now, Harry grew up in this, and Oprah said that too. She said, how is it that they're going to pull back on you and take away... everything that you're entitled to as an official member of the royal family. Like you were born into this. They can. If you think about it, if we compare and contrast and really look at it, it's no different than what's going on right now here in America. They changed the rules when they wanted to suit them. Right now here in America, we have voter suppression going on. Under the royal family in England, they decided that, well, we're going to change it where even if you are a descendant of the monarchy, we are going to strip you of your ability to ever sit on the throne. That's what they did. Now, when the conversation was had, many speculate. I truly believe now, based upon what has been said, that it was Prince Charles that had the conversation with Meghan about being cut off, changing the rules. Because Harry said it best. He said, I feel sorry for my brother and my dad because they're trapped. They can never leave. They're obligated. I said, so y'all got folk up in the palace, people thinking they living a good life and they hostages and shit. Who wants to live like that? But if you drink the cool... That's why I said I never... Okay, because I did have a crush on Prince William. I'm going to be honest. I'm glad I'm not... that didn't work out for me because, that whole chili bowl thing he got going back there. I'm like, where your hair... Just shave it off. Let it go, William. But in all seriousness, I'm like, that's very sad. And now, he was calling, asking his father for help. We learned that the Queen being blindsided by Harry and Meghan wanted to step down. That was all a spin. It was a lie. She knew because they had been having conversations with her throughout this transition of what they wanted to do. Again, the Queen is a figurehead. The more and more Meghan talked about this, the more I felt my blood pressure peak up. And I love how somebody on Twitter was like, Black Twitter arming up to go protect and defend Harry and Meghan. Because, you just never know what's going on. And that's why now I kind of am trying to temper myself when it comes to gossip columns and things that come up about what's going on with people. Other than when it's something like the cancel culture, they immediately wants to cancel somebody because of something they heard, rumor, innuendo. You've been tried and convicted in the court of social media. I have a real problem with that now. I'm a little bit, my awareness is going up. Congratulations to them. There will be a baby girl born to Harry and Meghan. Um, they talked about Princess Diana and how, she lived her life. And I was like, could you imagine if social media had been around then? Oh, Jesus. Uh, and I thought it was cute when she talked about how when she was trapped in England having to stay in the house, and she ended up watching The Little Mermaid, and how there's a part in the movie where right when she gets the prince, she has to lose her voice. But the truth of the matter is the Little Mermaid had just found her voice. So I thought that was really cute. I said, God speaks to us in mysterious ways. And again, I'm looking at my Twitter notes, by the way, guys. It just seems to me that some of the protocols they have in place, again, they forget that the royal family are actually human beings and not androids. So, I don't, and I will be honest, I don't fare well under those type of conditions either. Even though I was a reservist, I was in the Army, there was a lot of shit that went on that didn't make sense to me. And when shit don't make sense to me, I get really irritated. And what I do is, which I will never forget, my battle buddy got mad at me because I'm one of them people, I mentally check out. And when I check out, I go into autopilot and I just go through the motions. I do what I need to do to stay under the radar, to be unbothered. And so I think, I wouldn't have fared well, or any of us would have fared well under that, because like I said, in the military, I was like, why we gotta do this? Why every time I see brass, I gotta salute them? Like, sometimes I'll be in the middle of doing stuff. What the hell I'm supposed to do? I don't want to do that. Yeah, I wasn't good at that. But anyway, if y'all need security or a nanny, Miss Sophia the Diva is available. I'm very well trained. I still remember. Okay, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't good with hand-to-hand combat, but I'm very handy with a 9mm or an M16. So there you go. Or a grenade launcher if you need that. Oh, and I'm also an expert at throwing grenades as well. They land very well. At the end of the day, we can conclude that this royal institution is complicit in the lies. So I remember, how does the saying go? Believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. And I think this is a cautionary tale of what happened. And I think that Harry made the best possible decision he could for his family at the time. So God bless Princess Diana in her infinite wisdom for setting up a trust fund for Harry to be able to survive in the event that he got cut off. I mean, could you imagine? And we learned that it was not Meghan that made Kate cry. It was Kate that made Meghan cry. And she knew this truth and yet said nothing. But she can't help it because she's programmed. She's drinking the royal Kool-Aid. And, if you break protocol, I mean, people are scared. You could end up murdered, chased by the paparazzi in France, and crash and die. That was one of the worst nights ever. I will never forget that. It was Misty and Mike. We were in, I don't know why I can't ever remember the name of the dorm at the University of Tulsa, but it was the old dorm, and I think they've probably changed it since then, but it was where all the athletes used to stay at one point, and then they opened it up. It wasn't the Twin Towers, it was the other one, and we had the suite. There were suites in there as well. And I remember we were in the lobby playing cards, and they announced that Princess Diana was in a car crash, and a couple hours later, it was announced she didn't make it. So I don't blame him for choosing his family over some bullshit ass royal shit. The royal family to sit up there and continue to allow these protocols to be in place because they feel like they can't change it. And I don't hate to say it because it's true. If you really think about it, what happened in Coming to America? In some ways, it's like that. When the Queen at the time rest Madge Sinclair's soul. She died some years after the filming of the original Coming to America from complications from lupus. I think it was lupus. The L something. Yeah, I can't remember what the name of that dorm was. Um, Millie, thank you. I can't remember. It wasn't Twin Towers or Twin South, but it was the other one. I don't know why I can't think of the name of the dorm. I spent a lot of time in there, even though I never lived there. Um, but what was I talking about? Oh yeah, remember she told the king he could change the rules. But at the end of the day, like I said, Parliament controls everything for them, down to the Queen's budget. And I don't know if the royal family's HR department and their company is ran through Parliament. I don't know what's going on. I would have to research that. But it was, if you have not seen any interview, please watch it. It is not someone who has lived this pretty glamorous life, set up here crying about, oh, woe is me. They made me drink tea and crumpets and blah, blah, blah. No, this is someone who was a human being who was being treated like shit because she was a black woman. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you are, half whatever, all they're going to be like is, she black. What color is this baby? What color are these little mulatto children she going to have? That's all they were thinking. That's all they were thinking. They didn't care about her. They didn't care about her mental health. And for anyone who knows me knows I advocate and I go hard for mental health. And I believe we should protect our mental health at all costs. And what happened to Meghan Markle, she didn't expect that. And I'm pretty sure Harry probably didn't think anything like that would ever happen. She said her biggest mistake was believing when they said they would protect her. How can you let your grandchild, Charles, not be protected? And how can y'all sit up there and act like Queen Charlotte wasn't black? Make that make sense. Let me see if I missed some comments. Problems of the one percenters. Shelley said problems of the one percenters. Anyways, y'all, just when y'all think that everybody, all that glitter ain't always gold. People think that if people have money, they're happy. Sometimes they're not. And the more money you have, the more problems you have. Never forget that. Okay? But I'm going to get off of here. I've got some projects I am working on. And I may come back live. I don't know if my friend Greg, he wanted to do a 2 for Tea to talk about the cancel culture and what should be considered toxic and problematic. Because one of the things that is going on in our world, people are revisiting the things that many of us grew up watching or in our college years or whatever watching. And immediately they want to have it canceled. They don't ever want it to be seen again because they said it was toxic or problematic. Art imitates life, people. And so when you look at shows like Girlfriends and, you know, all of us can say we know a Tony Childs, we know a Joan, we know, any of those people on there, Maya, all of them. I forgot the freeloader's name just that fast. I don't know why I can't think of her name because she was actually one of my favorites. But we're probably going to come back and talk about that, if not tonight, but maybe tomorrow evening. So be prepared for that. It's going to be a 2 for Tea, please, with Greg, David, and Diva. And we may talk about that. But I just wanted to hop on here and talk about that and just really encourage people to watch Lynn. There we go. To watch it for what it is. You can catch it on CBS Access. I don't know if you can catch it on Paramount Plus. I was trying to see if I could live stream it, so I had to use my other live stream service that I have to watch it. But it was very, very interesting, and I think it would be a great tool to use to discuss racism and biases that people try to deny they don't have. You got one black friend, that's a problem for me. You need to get you a few more before you talk to me about I have a black friend. Okay, open your circles up. It's okay. Not all of us are thugs. The real thugs sat in Congress. Mitch McConnell. Anyway, I gotta go now. Let me not get on that conversation. But Harry, Meghan, cousin Oprah, because she doesn't want to be called auntie, but I call her cousin Oprah because, I'm Mississippi born. She's Mississippi born and raised. Okay. LaFortune. Thank you. University of Tulsa. LaFortune Hall. That was the dorm I was in when I found out Princess Diana had died in a car crash. Her and Dodi Fayed. They didn't want that either. Ooh, Let's not even begin to talk about if she had married Dodi Fayed, an Egyptian, an African. Baby. Come on. Anyway, y'all have a great evening. It is a new week. I am still convalescing for another week. I don't want to go back. But I am, so y'all pray for us down there to the job. But either way, I just wanted to talk about that because I think it's a great conversation to have about racism. I didn't go into too much in depth, about everything, but shout out to Tyler Perry, for being there for people when they need him most. And he doesn't just do it for celebrities, he does it for the regular person too. Shout out to Oprah for doing the interview. It's very, very nice, very well done, I think. But I think we need to talk about it. Roland Martin doesn't seem to think so because he prefers watching the All-Star game. He prefers to talk about racism in the healthcare system with the COVID-19 vaccine. By the way, pray for us here in Atlanta. We had a Wilds weekend. It was NBA All-Star weekend. Of course, even though the NBA may not actually be hosting parties, but it is a money grab for many people out here. And a number of these parties were packed to capacity and masks were not used. So to anyone watching who is from Atlanta, I would suggest we all social distance for the next 10 to 15 days. We double mask up and avoid people. And if you know somebody that came to Atlanta, I suggest you stay away from them for the next 10 to 15 days because COVID is very real and masks do work. I don't give a damn what anyone says that they don't work. They do. Quiet as it's kept, I will tell y'all right now, I had COVID at one point. Okay. As a matter of fact, I just got over it 2 weeks ago. And it was because I met up with a friend for dinner, talking across the table. My friend didn't know he had COVID, got it. 7 days after his symptoms became active, mine's activated and became active. So yeah, I'm sharing that now, and I'm going to share an in-depth video about the things I think that helped me because my case was very mild. I temporarily only lost my sense of smell. Let's see, partial because I could only smell soap. And 2 days after my quarantine period ended, I had my sense of smell back. So yeah, COVID's real and masks work because up until then, I hadn't really been out and about social. So that's the truth about what happened in my COVID case. So yeah, I got the antibodies or whatever. So there you go. Will I get the vaccine? I'll wait a couple of more years until more is known. But that's my story. So anyways, but if I will be doing a more in-depth discussion about it to my friends and family who didn't know that I had it. I just really didn't want to talk about it at first because number one, I was kind of ashamed that it happened to me because I had been so cautious. And I've had friends come in already before from out of town with no issues. But this happened. And so just know COVID-19 is real. I have never felt the way that I felt. It is nothing like the cold or flu. I personally have never had the flu either, but I've never been so sick with the cold where I've lost my sense of smell. And I don't know if it's because I was following protocols. So get y'all some vitamin D, get y'all some Chinese skull cap, get you some Bissy tea. You can usually get that down to the damn Chinese store. But yeah, I'm going to do a video and talk about it and share some of the things that I used that helped. Coconut water will be your friend because that shit will dehydrate you. I have never been so dehydrated in my life. And regular water was not working. So yeah, it's a different type of thing from what I've ever experienced. So other than that, I'm good so far. I have the earliest I could get in to see my doctor for a follow-up appointment was the 19th. So, of this month. So I'll go and follow up, make sure everything's okay. It just felt like a head cold, a really bad head cold. But yeah, it's real. Anyways, y'all take care and have a great week. I'll be praying for those of y'all returning to your jobs, and take care of yourselves and mask up.